The Right Way to Manage Databases in a Software System by Uncle Bob. Okay. I'm Chris Athanas. I'm a KMP developer. Tech support said they're coming out tomorrow to close that up. We'll be seeing that, I'm sure. I haven't seen this one yet. It's Uncle Bob. You know how I feel. He's ups and downs, mostly very generalized stuff. Go with some dev tools made simple. He's doing clips. And let's just see let's see what Uncle Bob is like.
The database is this thing that sits in the center of our system, right?
Does it? Really? All systems, databases in the center. Sometimes it's on the edge. Sometimes in like a missile system, the center thing is the missile tracking thing, not the database. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that Uncle Bob. I know I can get like autist because I'm a bit autistic and spurgy, and I'm a bit spurgy. I can see why people like that like this one. The answer, the one thing then, and it's like he's designing his message for people that yes, their database is the center of the thing. That's all they're doing. It's like, okay, well, so you've already automatically turned me off, right? Because I'm like, that's not the only thing I'm doing. It's not the most important thing. I don't think it's the central thing that we're even doing when we're doing software development. It is a tool like a wrench or a hammer or a screwdriver. It's meant to get something else that we're doing, and it's a piece of a tool of a machine like a carburetor or an intake filter.
It's the important part. It's the middle of the system.
Is
and
it?
so we put into it everything that we don't know what to do with.
I love DevTools Made Simple's examples. Here's like a SQL's query, A num, B num, C num, D num. Okay. Tech terms. All right, he's doing an SQL query on some quiz.
Database will do that.
Some PHP stuff.
No,
right,
I don't want the database in the middle of the system. The database is a detail. I want it sitting off on the outside. I don't want the business objects to know that there is a database.
All right,
I don't want the database anywhere near my application.
Well, I mean, you mean you want it to be decoupled, right? You want a layer between that you're not completely relying on the database. But okay, let's see if he keeps going. I'm cook.
It should be an appendix hanging off the side because databases get inflamed and you need to remove them.
What? What does that even mean? So you're mixing medical? Are we going to want a medical metaphor now? We have like it's like an appendix or some sort of piece of cancer. Your database is cancer, is what you're saying, Uncle Bob? Okay, let's keep it.
And replace them with something else. Anybody fiddling around with NoSQL?
Yes.
Ooh, look at that. We got some notes. All in the same group over here, too.
It's just data. Just dump it into some fields. We've been doing that forever. It's called NoSQL. No, it's just like a flat file. Just dump up everything, all the record in one big place. And if there's some kind of relational stuff, it's the application will be doing that, not your database. Okay, it's okay, whatever. No, it's NoSQL. They always have to put a new name on something to sell a conference, to sell a book, to sell a course, to sell a training thing. We'll revolutionize your development team with our new techniques of NoSQL. Oh, jeez. Oh, here we go. Okay, keep going. Let him cook.
NoSQL database is the new fad, right? I mean, you have to have fad.
This is an old video, but still talked about today.
Keep in software from time to time. NoSQL databases are databases that don't use SQL. Okay. They're not relational.
Like it's like, hey, maybe they are relational. Maybe you're not relational in the database mechanism. So the application has to make it relational. So you're not getting away with some relations. So let's keep going.
And I think this is a good idea. I like the idea. I in fact, am using a NoSQL database for one of the projects that I'm involved with at the moment.
I mean, it may be appropriate. Why kick it out Why kick it out at all? Why have a database at all? Why don't you just do CSV files? Maybe that's appropriate. Maybe that makes sense. Why do more than you need to? Why bring on all that junk and all that technical debt when all you need is flat files? I mean, he does have a point with that. He doesn't use that as an example. I'll give him credit for that.
What's not a good idea is for my application to know that it is a NoSQL database.
Okay, true. Okay.
My application should
sort of depends. Like certain the capabilities these NoSQL have that the SQLs have, and vice versa. There's certain things that are good about one, the bad things on the other side. It depends on what you're doing, man. Let's keep going.
Care. It shouldn't care that it's a SQL database. It shouldn't care that it's a NoSQL database.
I mean, depends on what you're trying to do. I get what you're trying to say. You're trying to store data somewhere persistently. You shouldn't care where it is. I get that. Okay, if that's what you're trying to say, yes. But the application does kind of have to know what style of thing they're doing because it's how you structure your application now. depends a lot about how that decision's made. I don't know how to say it.
My application should have no idea what kind of database
This is 2012, so this is 12 years old, so 14 years old.
I'm using. The database is just a detail off to the side, managed by a few interesting classes like the repository classes. And if I
Well, I mean, what are you trying to say? The repository pattern? I mean, this is one way of doing it, but you don't necessarily have to do it this way either. It's like, this stuff is so goofy. It's like the repository pattern.
ever want to change the database, I just have to find those classes and
You mean where you put the database calls back and forth? That's a repository. It's different. It's like, no, I mean, it's just like the database calls, a class with database calls in it. Okay.
rip out the one implementation and put in a different one. In fact, it should be trivial, relatively trivial, for you
And it never is, by the way. Well, let's keep
you
going.
to come in one day and say, this database we've got sucks. Let's put a new one in and see if that's any better.
They always use. I was wondering why everybody used this example as the whole thing about using interfaces as opposed to the testing thing. So we might want to swap out the database, and put the thing about it is the database people figure that out. They go, oh no, you're gonna have to use our APIs. You're gonna have to use all of our APIs. You have to build your own API, your own interface in front of that. Because you're gonna get a vendor tie-in, a vendor lock-in. That's what they figured out this game. So I didn't last very long, Uncle Bob.
And you should be able to
Let's
do that
keep going.
over the period of maybe a week or so.
A week? Oh, really? It just doesn't matter what the size is. Doesn't how many entities there are. How many databases? Is it distributed? Is it multiple countries, different languages? Just take a week? Oh, okay. All right. I like the way this guy just riffs off his time estimates off the top of his hat without any requirements at all. That's senior level. Just whip it out. Just take a week. This guy.
Change a few lines of code in a few different files. Okay, let's try Mongo.
I mean, maybe. I think you could get away with that if you do Allen K style architecture, where each individual entity has its own little database and it's not really requiring anything else. You could change one inside if it's just got a little container. But swapping SQL, that's good.